Hey everybody, welcome to Bestie Book Reviews. I'm here with my bestie Mandy.
And I'm here with my bestie, Jessica.
So it's that time of the week. It's time for us to go over those 1 minute book recs. This is where we read or talk about all the books we read in the past week with 1 minute synopsises for each book. Before we get started with that, I think Mandy has some housekeeping stuff to take care of.
We do. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. We love having you here. And we are doing our 26 books of 2026. I'm not even sure what book number we're on. At some point, I'll figure that out and make an announcement. But right now, it is time for us to draw for Lisa Suzanne's Snap Decision. This is a signed copy of her latest release. If you've not been reading the Bradley Legacy, you really need to go grab that series. It is wonderful. And are we ready? Okay.
Yes.
I put them in my little VIP cup here.
Okay.
Everybody's name.
I
wasn't
can't
smart
drum
though.
roll.
I use sticky-ish notes.
And they stick together?
A little. So here.
Yeah.
I don't want to look, but I'm going to have to like peel. What an idiot.
You're supposed to stick it the other way, not that way.
Well, they were cute looking. Okay. I just got it.
Pull.
Oh my gosh.
Pull.
Okay. Here we go.
Brittany Elson.
Okay, congratulations, Brittany. But do you see why I didn't fold them? Look at how cute. They're like little suitcases.
Yeah, they're cute, but they all stuck together. So
slightly problematic. So congrats, yes. Brittany.
Yes,
thanks for being a subscriber.
Mm-hmm.
And we will connect with Lisa and get that on its way to you.
Okay. All right.
Oh, what was it? So that makes me think about our next giveaway, which you can find out in our Wednesday video. We have not one, not two, but 3 giveaways coming your way in that video. So you're definitely going to want to check out Wednesday's video this week.
Yay. Okay. Let's talk about our reading weeks. Mandy was home for spring break, so she read 450 books this week. How'd that go for you?
I did not read 450 books.
No, just 15.
No, I didn't even read 15.
No, 12.
13. But I have a DNF of a kind of a popular book.
Oh, I can't wait to hear about that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I read something completely out of the norm for me.
Okay, I can't wait to hear about that too.
How about you? So you went camping, so you probably are the one who read 450 books.
I didn't, because we went camping with our close friends who are the kids' pseudo grandparents, and they wanted to play games the whole time, and I felt like a heel when I went to go lay in the hammock and read for too long, so I had to play games. So I read 10 books this week, so I still got a lot in. It was normally when I'm camping, and we were only camping really for like a day and a half. We didn't go for a regular 3 days, so I didn't get in as much as I normally do. So it was really hurting a lot too, but I figured, not going to be around forever. Our friends aren't always going to be here. So I played games. I won a lot of games. That competitive streak still comes out.
All right.
Yeah.
So, before we get started, I did have a birthday. And
yes, you did.
Anna sent me Barron's second chance. This is by the lady who wrote A Marriage of Discretion, which we both loved. So yeah, I'm excited to read this. So thank you, Anna.
Yep, I think I have that on my Kindle too. Anna sent me one too. Because she said that when it's your bestie's birthday, it's your birthday too, apparently. So, but mine was a S.J. Tilly book, and it's got Wander on the cover, and so I can't remember the title, but it's about a lumberjack or something. Thanks, Anna.
Oh, I have to show you what else I got for my birthday.
Okay, let me see if my Anna one is up here. I can't see. I can't get to it from where I'm at.
I got a few books, but that's not what I'm going to show you.
Oh, cute! Is that your Kindle cover?
Yes, but look at
you did. You got a different Kindle.
Can you see what it is? I got the color soft.
That's not very bright. I thought it'd be brighter. The colors.
I don't have it turned up bright. Well, actually, I guess I do. I think that you're probably not seeing. Well, some of
No,
these
I'm just thinking when I look at for a Kindle, like a
here.
Fire, it's like really
This is
colored.
probably better.
It's a little bit better, yeah. I can see that. Yeah, like a Kindle Fire, it's like is more bold, so that's what I'm thinking. But the Color Soft is more of a softer, right?
Yes, I love
I like
it.
that though. That's cool. Yes.
And then my husband got me the Highland
The Highland
cover.
Cow. Awesome.
I
I
wanted to
love
check
it.
though and see. Oh yes, it has been charging. Okay. The
Okay.
cover on the bottom hangs over a little bit more than my current one, so I wasn't sure on the stand how well it was going to charge or not. But
Oh yeah, because you have a stand
anyway,
there. Okay. Yeah.
okay,
Let's
let's
talk about some books. You're gonna
grab
go
those
first.
journals and dive in.
Yes.
And if you need a reading journal, links are below.
Yeah, they are.
Shameless plug.
Yeah, because I busted my ass for hours to make those journals.
Yes.
Yeah. And I hate doing it every time. So, okay.
Okay, I have to go first, don't I?
Yes, you do.
I have the timer ready.
Okay.
Okay. So last week I read that Willow Aster book that I said that I just didn't really care for. I mean, it
Yeah.
was fine. It was a 3. It just wasn't what I was used to. And so I said it was probably me. It may have been me because I read her most recent release, which is All for Love. And
Mhm.
I really enjoyed this one. So I feel back on track again. So this
Good.
is number 3 in the Windy Harbor. It is narrated by Austin Stone and Isabel Ruther. It just came out last week. And so here we have Dahlia and Dylan. They have an awkwardly funny meet cute on the plane where she gets up, she's not feeling super great, and she's trying to get to the bathroom and she passes out and literally falls headfirst into Dylan's lap, which it's done quite comically. Dylan says some things that he realizes were kind of inappropriate, but it was really quite funny. This leads them to having a good, like, just, that natural conversation when you fall headfirst into somebody's lap on an airplane. And it turns out they both live in the same area. And they just really start talking and they decide to spend some time together because she just left her daughter with her, oh my gosh, her daughter with her daughter's dad in LA. Whoa, that was loud. Sorry. And so they spend some time together and they just really hit it off. But it turns out they are from feuding families and don't realize it. And by feuding families, this is like a developmental, like not developmental, wow. Developing, oh my gosh, like developers in this community. And so the families have been feuding for a long time. The grandpas didn't like each other. And it's just all sorts of messy. And guess what?
What?
There is a wiener dog named Bill, and I really just feel like he steals the whole entire book. But anyways, I really, really enjoyed this one, so it was great to be back. The other thing I realized is that in book 2, it didn't really focus a lot on the found family and those sort of dynamics, or if it did, it just didn't really hit for me. Where book 1 and book 3, I felt like connected together a lot more than 2 did. So anyway, I really enjoyed it. I rated it 4 stars. And if I don't learn to pick up the pace, this is going to be a long video. My
Yeah.
apologies.
So true. Okay, well, I will pick up the pace for us because I did a reread. Somebody in one of my reader groups, I did like 3 of them this week. Somebody in one of my reader groups was like, I'm really looking for a book where he has no emotions and like he figures out how to feel for her and he pretends to have emotions. And I was like, oh, I know one. And then it made me want to read it. And so I know everybody and their mother has read this book. We're going to talk about it anyway. So that is Twisted Emotions by Cora Riley because that is exactly what happens with Nino. So if you are one of the only 3 or 4 people out there that have not read these books, this is a mafia romance. It is about Kiara and Nino. Kiara has been raped when she was a child and she has a lot of trauma over that. And then Nino is the brother to the head of the Camorra out in Vegas. And they are thrown together in an arranged marriage. Nino doesn't have emotions and Kiara doesn't want a marriage. She feels like she's broken and she's soiled goods, and he shows her that that is not the case and that he does want her. And this really focuses more on their relationship than it does the mafia. And that is all I'm going to say about that because everybody has read this book, but it's still worth it. Teddy Hamilton does the narration. It's great.
That was really fast.
I told you I'd pick up the pace.
But you know what? There's people who haven't read that series. I
There
mean,
is.
we can say that a lot of people have, but
But a lot of
especially
people have. But
if
still.
somebody hasn't read Mafia yet, or they're just getting started in their reading journey, that might not be
Mhm.
one that's even on their radar yet.
Might not be. I'd be surprised. I feel
I
like
mean,
everybody's read it, but still.
I tend to stick to a lot more indie, so there's a lot of popular books that I have. Like, I can go into Barnes and Noble and peruse the romance section, and there's a lot that I've never heard of. And if they're in Barnes and Noble, then a lot of people have read them.
Right. These ones aren't
Okay,
in Barnes and Noble.
no, they're not.
No.
That's what I'm
So
just
yeah.
saying. I read a
Mhm.
lot, and there's still a lot of books out there that are a lot of people have read that I've never heard of.
Right.
Okay.
Okay.
So last week I was reading Lucky River Ranch. I continued this week, so I picked up Sawyer. This is by Jessica Peterson. So this is Ava and Sawyer's story. So they have a one night stand when they're both single parents. They don't know this about each other, but they're out, and they just kind of cut loose and decide to have a one night stand. And then later, um, Ava works on the neighboring ranch. They run into each other, realize they're both in the same community or town or city, or it wouldn't be a city, town, area, whatever we want to call that. And then they find out that they're both single parents to about the same age kids. Sawyer has really just been wanting to find the one for a very long time. Like, he's ready to settle down. He wants the stability for his daughter. And he just really, really wants to get married and have more kids and all of that. And Ava is jaded because she was in a really bad situation and just a very loveless marriage. And so she's just like, I'm not interested in any of that. So there's a lot that has to get worked through in this, but I really appreciated that they were both being single parents, that their kids were like a priority for them. I love the found family as well as the actual family in this series. There's just something about this Cowboy series that I'm obsessed with. I love it. 5 stars.
Okay. All right. Well, the next
It's
book that
getting
I
really hot in here. I'm like always cold, and now I'm like roasting. I might have to go crack a window while you're talking. And then I
okay.
apologize for all the farm animal sounds that will be coming in. We just got new goats, and they're little, and if they can hear me, they might start screaming.
Okay.
Okay.
Have fun with that. Okay. So turn the AC on. How about that? Just turn the AC on really, really early, and then the goats won't be screaming. But your husband might.
Well, it's also warm in here because I have the heat lamp, and then I
That's
shut the
right, because you got the
door
chicks in there.
because we're recording, and
Yeah.
so it's just
Yeah.
getting really stuffy in here. So I need to open the window. Okay,
Okay.
what are you gonna
Well,
read? Quick.
I'm not going to read anything. I'm going to talk about a book that I did read though. And this is the one that I gave 1 star to this week. And I'm so pissed that I wasted my time. Okay. So this book is called What Goes Around, and it is by Talia Nova. Now, this is one that I saw in one of my reader groups, and everybody was like, oh my God, it's amazing. It's 5 stars. I friggin' loved it. It is a, what do they call it? Like a rebirth novel. And I'm like, okay, that sounds really good. It's a part of a duet. It sounded great. And I went and looked on Goodreads. It has like amazing, it was like 4.6 something, really, really, really high ratings on Goodreads. And then I started reading this book, and this book is a train freaking wreck. So this is about Ashley. Ashley is at her best friend's wedding. She is a part of the bridal party. The groom tells the best friend that he can't go through with it, and they end up running down the aisle to a room. And then Ashley goes into that room, and the groom is telling the bride that he can't marry her because he's in love with Ashley and that she has led him on. Ashley's like, I don't know what's going on here. Then Ashley's boyfriend comes in, believes the groom over his girlfriend, and then Ashley's sister comes in, and she's um taking everybody else's side too. Make that make sense. I'm going to go on longer than my minute. We just have to talk about this. Then when the wedding party breaks up, mind you, we are told that the parents are ticked off at Ashley, the parents of this bride, right? um Not once did they show up in that room. Now, if you would walk down the aisle, like ran off, like if you were somebody called your wedding off and you run down to a room in the church, don't you think your mom would walk in and be like, what the heck is going on? I just paid for a damn wedding. I mean, let's be honest. Then we're told they live in a very tiny town, right? Next thing we know, all of these videos are going viral of her and the wedding, which nobody knew what was going on until they got into that room. So I don't understand why that would go viral. She's getting death threats. Make that make sense. Then she thinks that she's pregnant. Her boyfriend breaks up with her, by the way, over all this. Then she thinks that she's pregnant. So she goes to the store, buys a pregnancy test. It clearly states that she walks out of the store with the pregnancy test in a brown paper bag. But by the time she got home, because there was paparazzi waiting for her outside of the pharmacy in this little tiny town, by the time she gets home, it's plastered all over the internet and it's gone viral that she's pregnant. How would they know? And then she gets a message from the boyfriend to meet her at the Hilton in town. She goes to the Hilton at the set time to the set room, and the door is just ajar. And then she overhears him screwing her sister. Have you been? We've been to hotels lately. Did the doors just sit ajar?
Well,
No.
there was that one room we stayed in where the door wouldn't shut all the way and we had to really push it.
Okay, no. So we all know that they're heavy and they slam shut, okay? And I'm like, this is a bunch of bullshit. So apparently at some point here, she dies, which we know she dies, and then she gets rebirthed. She basically wakes up in high school again and has to make different choices. I gave it 1 star. I do not understand why they were 5 stars. I don't understand why everybody wanted to give this book 5 stars. It was a train wreck with plot holes left, right, and sideways. It was a waste of time, and it pissed me off that I read it. Do better, authors. Do better. Nobody in a little town is going to go viral over a wedding that nobody gives a shit about. I'm sorry. They're just not. I feel better. I got that off my chest now. It was horrible. I really wanted this to be good. Like, the idea sounded good. Like, she dies, and then all of a sudden, like, she wakes up, kind of like the, like Scrooge and the whole Ghost of Christmas Past. Like, she wakes up and she has to redo her life and make her different life choices. Oh, and by the way, somewhere around chapter 4 or 5, we find out that her boyfriend and the bride are brother and sister, but we weren't told that in the beginning. So stupid. That context would have helped a little bit to know why he wasn't taking her side. Anyhow, just saying. Go on, or talk about your next book, or I'm going to continue to go on, and we're going to have a problem.
Okay. Well, this is an awkward transition to talk about our buddy read, so don't switch me over.
Okay.
But the next book I read was Duke by Jessica Peterson. This is my pick for our buddy read. So for our 3-year buddy read anniversary, we do have each of us picked a book to read, and so it's going to be a chaotic good time. Right now that's scheduled for April 19th. Stay tuned. We may need to make an adjustment to the date. We'll post more about that later if we do. But anyway, so I don't want to talk about my book yet because that's what the buddy read is for. So on the live show, we will all be talking about our books, and you can read one, some, none, whatever you want to do. We just hope you'll join us. We do have some giveaways that will be lots of fun. So mark your calendars and check back.
Okay. All right. Well, after that train wreck that I went through, I went back to Cora Riley because I just needed another hit because this was horrible. So I read Twisted Bonds, which this is actually book. So the one I talked about earlier was book 2. This is actually book 4, but it is Nino and Kiara's story continued. And so we get to go back and see them as a couple. In this, they're tying up some loose ends, but Kiara and Nino have been together for a couple of years now. Kiara has not gotten pregnant. She's not sure why she can't get pregnant. And we see basically this kind of play out between the two of them. We also see her dynamics with the other brothers in the family. We see there's a loose end that needs to be tied up with the mother of all of the boys, all of the Kimura boys, because she's in an insane asylum and the boys were going to take care of her a while ago. And so that all comes up. Basically, this is just their continuation of their story. That's all I need to say. If you read one, you better read the other.
Okay.
Okay. Next.
All right. Next is Savage Ties by Kate
Every
Oliver.
time. Yeah.
I'm trying to remember how she said that she pronounces his name. It's Kian, but she pronounced it Kian.
Kian.
What'd you say?
Kian.
Kian. Okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. It's Irish,
Somebody
right?
was asking her about it, and I was trying to remember what she said. But
Well, if it's Irish Mafia, right?
hmm?
Is it Irish Mafia?
No,
Is it
it's just
Brava?
Mafia
Or just
in
Mafia?
Vegas.
Because Kian is an Irish name. That's why I'm asking.
Oh,
But okay, go ahead. Tell us
isn't
about
that usually spelled differently though?
it. There's a couple of different ways. Kean is how but it can be spelled different, a couple of different ways.
Okay. Anyway, so this is the third book in the series. So we have Keenan. He works all the time. The brothers all own like a whole bunch of stuff in Vegas. You could read this as a standalone. It's interconnected. I would really, really recommend reading, starting at the beginning and reading all three because they're just really, really good mafia books and you'll get a much better enjoyment out of them. So he works all the time. He's the one constantly, doing everything for the business on like all the tech stuff on the computer 24/7. Like he is busy working. They make jokes about like how he can't stay off of his phone because he's always checking stuff. And he just really kind of feels the weight of their casinos and their empire is on his shoulders. So he's constantly working on that. And it's his birthday. They force him to go out. And while he's out, he sees this beautiful woman that he's just really taken back by. They end up dancing. Her name is Ace. He actually has Ace tattooed on his fingers already. And so he kind of feels like it's a little bit of a sign. They go up into one of the hotel rooms and spend the night together. And when he wakes up the next morning, she is gone. She is hiding something. I don't want to give any spoilers away. He eventually is able to kind of track her down, but she's hiding stuff and we don't know what's going on either. So there's kind of a mystery as to how she has the money she has and like just what her past is. And so I'll just leave it at that. I realized I forgot to set my timer. Sorry.
I was just gonna ask, did you forget to set the timer?
I did. So I rated it 4 stars, really enjoyed it. I'm looking forward to where this world is going next. I don't want to give any spoilers away, but you will know if you read the book.
Okay. All right. I so plan to read those. I actually have it downloaded. I just didn't have enough time camping to listen to the audio. Okay. Anyhow.
Darn people interactions.
Dang it, having to be present all the time. Okay. And it was raining, and so like we were all in one trailer doing games. So anyhow, could it not be sociable? So the next book I listened to was on my TBR, and I was really looking forward to this audio, and that was Ashes by Claire Kent. This is the second book in her post-apocalyptic fairy tales. All of these books are based on fairy tales, but they're set in the post-apocalyptic world. So this one is basically a Cinderella retelling. This one takes place it's like 29 years after the asteroid hit the earth. So it is like we have reestablished a type of government. Things are not great, but the world has started to rebuild itself. And you have Teresa, who is our heroine, and she lives with her stepmother after her father has passed away. And her stepmother and her stepsister are very cruel to her, just like in Cinderella. And they have her out foraging and looking for things that they can sell at the market. She finds like a whole bunch of bouncy balls, which is really funny because then they fall and then all the dogs go crazy with these bouncy balls. It's really interesting. And then you have Mason, who is our hero. He runs the dairy farm in town and he makes cheese and he sells cheese at the market. And so she really wants to get away. She decides that she's actually found some jewelry when she was scavenging, and so she uses that to go to the capital to see her sister. And that is where along the way, so she believes that her stepsister is engaged to Mason. She is told by her stepmother that's the case. He's come to the house. He doesn't really talk or anything, but she believes that that's the case. Well, when she goes to the capital to see her sister, he actually rides with her and he offers to marry her. He is not engaged to her sister or her stepsister, and he wants to marry her, and she accepts. And then we see their relationship. They are both very innocent. They are both virgins. They both don't really know much about sex except for what they see on the farm. And it gets very interesting. It really, really does. I gave it 4 stars. Loved it. Can't wait to see what the next one. I think the next one will be out either in June or July, and I can't wait. It's Hood, so it's Little Red Riding Hood. So I can't wait to see that one.
Learning about that from the farm is not the best way.
I know, because there's a type she reads a book. And she's like, I read this book and I found some naughty stuff, and he does it from behind. And then he goes, you mean like the cows? And I was like, oh my God.
I remember being little and running, like I was probably 8 or 9, and running into the house screaming that the rooster was trying to kill one of the hens.
Yeah,
And
because
my mom like died laughing and then like had to
I remember
update some information for me.
the neighbor's dog got around our dog. And I remember looking out the window and seeing them stuck together and they were trying to pull apart and just screaming. And my mom's like, I'm like, the dogs, you know, I was like, what's wrong with the dogs? And my dad was all ticked off, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay. Farm life.
Well, speaking of farms, I read Writer. Actually, I listened to Writer by Jessica Peterson. Again, I'm obsessed with this series. So this book, Writer, and the audio just both came out on April 7th. It is narrated by Stephen Dexter and Lila Winters. So in this, we have the last of the River brothers, who is Writer, who's he's the last, to get paired up. And he is at one of the rodeos. He sees Billy. They've grown up together. He's known her since they were younger. She has just decided to start barrel racing, and she falls during the race, and he is out of those bleachers like a rocket. I think it kind of surprises himself at how fast he runs down there. He pushes people out of the way. He begins CPR, and he's just really freaked out something's going to happen to her. And he ends up riding with her to the hospital and basically just kind of chilling there. And from there, their friendship starts to maybe take on a little more of a different tone. And she has just been kind of stuck in this. She just feels really like stifled, basically, because she's the accountant for the ranch and she wants to be outside, but her parents, not in a negative way, just in a like, oh, you're so good at this. This is your contribution to the ranch, So she doesn't want to disappoint people, and they don't really want her doing these dangerous activities. So, like, kind of being good parents, but also stifling her, if that makes sense. And then we also have Ryder, who really probably took the death of their parents the hardest, and he just has some stuff to work through. So we have like just this epic love story between the two of them while they're finding themselves and healing and all of that. And I just loved it so much. And it sets up the new series, which I think is starting in August, which I'm very excited for. I'm obsessed with this cowboy romance. So I obviously gave that one 5 stars as well.
Okay.
I am not going to do well on our April wrap up.
I mean, I can see that. I can see that. Okay, well, I promise, guys, this is my last reread of the week. But if you read those 2 Cora Riley books, then you also see parts from Remo and Seraphina's story, which is Twisted Pride. And then I really just had to listen to Twisted Pride again because I just did. By the way, it was the first time I ever listened to Tor Tom because he's Remo. And so when we made friends with Tor, I was like, oh my gosh, that's Remo. Like, it's Remo. So anyhow, so I re-listened to Twisted Pride. We're just gonna talk about this for a second. So this is book 3 in the Kimura Chronicles. Mandy, if Cora ever actually makes it to the United States, remind me that these ones are already signed and I don't need to get them signed. But I just realized that when I looked in here. But anyhow, so this is about Serafina and Remo. Remo is the capo of the Kimura in Vegas, and Serafina is the daughter to the niece to the capo of the outfit, which is in Chicago. And the Kimura want to get back at somebody from the outfit, and so they decide, Remo, being as crazy as he is, decides to kidnap Serafina on her wedding day, and they take her back to Vegas. So that is a huge no-no in this world. You don't mess with women and children. You don't mess with weddings. That's considered sacrilegious. Like, you just don't do it. But he did it. And he keeps Serafina as his prisoner. And this is the one who has like this impenetrable shield around him, but Serafina is going to be what breaks it down. And, it is what it is. It's going to be interesting. So if you guys haven't read the Kimura Chronicles, I highly, highly, highly suggest that you should.
That was like in a if you give a mouse a cookie situation.
Exactly. That is like if you give a mouse a cookie.
If you give Jessica this book, then she's going to want to read this book. And
Well,
then
because
she's
we
going
see
to want to
parts of
read
it
this book.
in Twisted, well, not Twisted Emotions, and Twisted Bonds. We see bits and pieces of that story being told, but from Kiara's perspective. And then I went, oh, I really missed that book too. I know you don't do rereads like that, but every once in a while, I just miss them.
I'm not a
So,
rereader. I'm sorry.
it's okay. You don't have to be. I reread enough for the both of us.
That's true.
Yes.
Okay. So I also read a Claire Kent book this past week because I am working my way through the Kindle series. So, and I don't think you've read this one, Hero.
No, I started it and I was in like the first chapter and it just wasn't catching for me. So I need to hear you talk about it.
Okay.
Okay.
So Hero by Claire Kent. And this is Esther and Zed. So Esther and Zed are living in this small cabin. This is where they've been for a while. There were 10 of them. Now it's the two of them and Zed's daughter, Rena. She's only about 4 in the story. And so Zed is her stepdad's brother. So he's kind of like a step uncle. She was 15. He was 22 when her mom and stepdad got married. And so they've been surviving by scavenging, but they've kind of come to this point where they're gonna have to do something different. Rena needs to be around people. They've decided like she's getting to that age and they've just run out of supplies. There's nothing really left to scavenge, and they know that they're not going to survive another snowed in winter up in this cabin. So they're trying to figure out what to do when Esther is in town and she meets Mac and Anna, who, if you've read the other books, you kind of know who they are. And they give her information on where they could travel to find some communities. So this is the story of them traveling. But it's also important to note that Esther and Zed are not together, but they're together. That makes sense?
Okay. See, I didn't even get to the part where there was a little girl. So maybe that's why.
Gives a very different dynamic.
Okay.
And Esther's a big worrier too. So that kind of plays into this a little bit.
Sorry, I ended up bringing home a cold from camping. So
I brought home sinus issues.
I think that is what it is. I've had it for like the last week, but now it's affecting my voice.
I rated it 5 stars. I'm loving it.
Okay, good. Okay, all right. Well, I picked up one that we were all anticipating and came out this last week. A lot of us had talked about it and thought about it. And that was Twisted Pawn. Yes, I went to the hardcovers bookstore without Mandy. It's a point of contention.
Is it?
For me, it's not actually, but you know.
Oh, because I mean, if you want me to get worked up about it, I will.
Oh, I mean, no, that's okay. I don't want to feel like I worked you up over. And yeah, I picked this up when I was there before I'd read it. Huh?
You could have called and I could have met you there.
I didn't know that I was going to go there until just before I went there, though.
Kidding. I'm kidding. Okay, talk about the book, woman.
Okay.
Talk about the book.
Twisted Pawn by L.J. Shen. Okay. This is book 2 in her Society of Villains series. This is Tierney and Achilles' story. Tierney and Achilles hate each other. They loved each other at one point in time. They hate each other now. She has a lot of trauma. She has a lot of issues from when she was younger. And Achilles is basically her stalker. He's been watching her since she was 14. He's been around since she was 14. And now there is another guy, a mafia man from Sicily, who is asking for her as his bride. And Achilles is going to be the one that has to hand her over to him. And, you know, he's been very protective of her. He kills every man that she sleeps with. Like, he literally kills every man that she sleeps with. But he also protects her at the same time, because that girl, she is just out for destruction. But now he has to hand her over to another couple, and that's not gonna fly very well with him. So anyhow, I don't know what else to say about it. I really don't, because it's a long book. I felt like there were some things that didn't need to happen. The book didn't need to be this long. I still gave it, can't really give it on Goodreads, but the more I've thought about it, I still think it's a 4-star. I didn't love it as much as I loved the first one. There was something that majorly that happened in here, and I was like, that didn't need to happen. It was completely, like, it completely came out of left field. Did I enjoy the story? Yes. Oh yeah, he's scarred, by the way. Half of his face is burned. But I still enjoyed the story. So I listened to it. Maybe that's why. I don't know. I know some people just were not thrilled with what happened in that one chapter. And I was like, this makes no sense, but okay. I'll knock a half a star off of it for that. So
Ooh,
I did. I mean, I kept going.
critical.
I mean, I was like, this is like a 4.5 or so, and then that happened, and I was like, no, because it
2
just literally,
stars.
yeah, no, it wasn't needed. It had nothing to do with the story. It just came out of left field, and it was just ridiculous. So, but that's okay.
Okay.
Okay,
All right.
next.
Okay. Next, I listened to Show Me by Adriana Locke. And this is her latest book. I, excuse me, I love Try Me, which is the book, the previous book in this series. I really, really enjoyed that one. This one, I've just really kind of struggled to connect to these characters. So we have Audrey, who is wanting to do some self-discovery. So she goes to stay out in this cabin, like kind of out in the middle of nowhere. There's a snowstorm, so she gets stuck there. Brooks is there because he was working out there and he comes to go take a shower, I think, and doesn't realize she's staying at the cabin. Or not Brooks, Brock's. Is it Brock or oh my god, I wrote Brooks in one spot and Brock in another. I'm pretty sure it was Brock, excuse me. Anyway, see, I really just failed to connect to the characters. I rated it 3 stars. It just I don't know. I don't know what it was other than I just didn't really connect to the characters.
Okay, all right.
I'm sorry. Because
You
I
don't
do
have to be
like
sorry,
Adriana Locke.
but that's okay. It's not always
But
gonna work for you.
I feel guilty. You can just be like 1 star.
I don't feel guilty when a book doesn't work for me. I do not feel guilty. Okay,
Okay.
because it's a personal thing. It's got nothing to do with the author. All right. Well, the next book is one that I also had on my TBR for this month, and I was so happy to get it crossed off. And that was Caught by the Convicts by Jessa Kane. So this is a novella. Audio did come out this week, and it is about Wendy, who is our heroine. She is going to this prison to meet up with her father. She actually had to call in some calling it like a favor from a friend in order to go behind the glass wall partition. She's actually being taken into the prison, onto the prison floor to see her father. But as she's going into the prison and walking past these cells with all of these guys, she something crazy happens, and all of a sudden the doors all open up to the prison, and there is a prison riot right then and there. And instead of, like, she can see her life flashing before her eyes, gonna be like she knows that she's dead at this point. And these 2 guys grab her and pull her into their cell and slam the door shut on her. And that is where she meets our heroes. This is I think it's an FMM, because eventually the guys kind of they realize they have feelings for each other. And so they have her in their cell, and then other things happen, and there eventually is a prison break, and it's a whole thing. I gave it 3 stars only because, you know what, it was a novella. It was not very long. It was about the smut, more so than the story. There were just some very interesting things that happened in this one, but it was an enjoyable listen. So, you know,
Okay.
not mad about it. I
Okay.
just wish there was plot. But yeah.
Okay. Next, I listened to Good Neighbors by Chad Zunker. And this is narrated by Ava Lucas. This is just a really quick mystery. Kara is keeping an eye on her neighbor Mindy's house. Her and Mindy are really good friends, and Mindy thinks her husband is cheating or having an affair, which is the same thing. I don't know why I felt I needed to switch my verbiage on that. But anyways, so she is keeping an eye on the house, and she sees something she should not see, and it goes from there. So again, very, very quick mystery. I enjoyed it. I rated it 4 stars. I don't know that I would necessarily consider it a romance because it's more of a mystery. But the reason I listened to it is because I am in Ava Lucas's Facebook group. So you guys might want to go check that out. It's called Kiss and Tell with Ava Lucas, and they're doing a challenge every day. And every day there's a prize and a new challenge. And so that's through the month of April. So you can go check out that Facebook group if you want to, if you're an audiobook lover, it's a lot of fun.
All right. Well, next I picked up a book that you've already read and you've been wanting me to read, and so I picked it up. And that
Ooh,
is
what is it?
Silas by Lane Hart and DB West. So this one, did you listen to the audio of this one, or did you physically read this one?
I probably physically read it.
Yeah, because the audio is done by a dude the whole time. So let me just put that out there. I would physically read it for anyways.
Just this past, like in 2020, I think I read that prior to 2025, but just like what, probably like the last half of 2025, I really got into my audiobook era.
Yeah.
And now, like, I
Yeah,
listen to a
I'm
lot of
thinking because
audio.
it wasn't, the audio was not the best. Anyhow, let's talk about the book. So
Oh
this is
no.
about Cora and Silas. Cora, so this is an MC romance, and we see MC parts and pieces to it, but the MC doesn't play a huge role in the book because it's more about their relationship once they get away from the MC. But Cora is a chef, and she is doing a private dinner for this dude when basically there's a shootout. She's hiding out in a closet, and these guys are in motorcycle helmets that with the visors completely down, and one of them is going to shoot her, but they decide not to, and then she is hauled into the police department to give a statement. All she remembers is a name, and she really doesn't want to give this guy's name, but she does, because she figures out what they were really doing there. And then you have Silas, who's a part of the MC, and because their friend is being put in jail because of what Cora has told the police, they decide, he comes up with this crazy ass plan of going and collecting her and telling her that she's now going to be a part of the witness protection program. And so he takes her to this island where he he plays the part of the FBI agent, which I thought was great. And he basically keeps her there. He buys her a restaurant, he buys her a house, he boinks the hell out of her. And eventually he's there for longer than what is expected because he really likes her. Um, I gave it, okay, so don't hate me. I gave it 3.5 stars. I think if you were to rate it today, you wouldn't rate it as high as you did. It was just really about the boinking quite a bit in here. I did enjoy it. I listened to it while I was cooking and stuff. Like, I did enjoy it. I think the narration sucked balls, and that was a huge part for me. Is I should have
Mhm.
just physically read it, and I probably would have rated it higher. But I'm not mad that I read it. I did enjoy it. So
I
I'm
think
gonna
the
say,
other books in the series have a little more to do with the MC than this
yeah, this one
particular
didn't.
one does.
Mhm. Yeah, because you get that, right? Like, we hear a lot more about the guys and things that are happening, and so has a kid. Like, we hear about those things because I think this was like this is book 4 in the series.
Hmm.
So I'm not mad about it. I don't mind. I wouldn't mind going and checking out some of the other books. I just feel like it needs different narration.
Bad narration can really make
Yes,
you not want to finish a book. It can make you DNF.
totally. And it wasn't going to make me DNF it. I was enough into the story that I was going to stick with it. But yeah, that narration
Well,
wasn't my
it's
favorite.
funny that you read a book that I've been wanting you to read for a while because my very next book in my book journal is one that you have talked about quite a bit. And I've said, oh, I need to read that. And you're like, yes, you do.
Okay.
Do you know what it is?
Absolutely freaking not.
Okay, I'm just messing with you.
There's like a list.
So
I mean, there's quite the list. Yeah.
I listened to while I cleaned the barn.
Ooh.
So it kind of fit a little bit. But I listened to Bull Rush by Maggie
Oh
Rodden.
yeah, I knew you were listening to that one. Okay, tell us about
Yeah.
it.
Okay, so this is about Hazel. Hazel believes that she's a divorced woman and she is running her ex's farm or not farm, but it's more like a ranch with an inn on it, like a country ranch inn type situation. And she's running that because that's what she got in the divorce. And he's in the NFL and he left her and they got divorced. And so she is trying to get married because she's engaged and she's very happy, excited to be like getting married, got the wedding planned out. And she finds out that she can't get married because she's still married. And at the same time, we have Ramsey, who's just getting out of jail because he's been there for, I don't think it was a super long term. It was like 5 months or something for a murder, but it was like a self defense type situation. And he's now going to be on parole and he has to go home to his wife based on what the parole officer tells him. So he shows up and is like, hey, we're still married. Well, actually, he shows up and he's butt ass naked, like
Yeah,
on the front lawn, and all the inn guests are staring because he's
bunch of old
using
women.
his outdoor shower on his RV.
Mm-hmm.
And so he tells Hazel, hey, we're still married, so I will officially sign everything over to you. But during my parole, I'm going to live here with you and we shall live as real husband and wife.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah. And then you might have some questions about that, but everything works itself out as you're reading it. There's a little
Is
bit of a
this
mystery going on
is
that
this the
sets
one
up
that
like the
you
next book.
is this the one that you texted me about and said this had better not be a love triangle? And then I was like,
No,
what are you talking about? Oh, that was a
no.
different one.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All
Okay.
right. Because I was confused because you never cleared that up for me.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah. So I'm
It
still
was
confused now.
not. And
Okay.
so I won't even discuss it on here because the
All
book
right.
that
We'll
I
talk
was
later.
freaking, out about
Okay.
was not. I just got
Okay.
nervous.
Okay. Yeah. So what did you give Ramsey's book?
4 stars.
Okay. All right. That's good. They get darker from there. Kind of. Okay. Well, the next one we don't need to switch over for because the next book that I read was the book for our Convincing My Bestie series, which will be out on Thursday. And the
Oh, yes.
title of this one is uh Best Friend's Dad
Check back on Thursday.
or that. So check back on Thursday to see those recommendations and to see what I chose and how I liked it.
I think everybody probably heard what you said. It's not a big
I'm sure
deal.
they did. Yeah, I know. Okay.
Let's
What's
just
your
say
next
it's
book?
Taboo Week on Bestie Book
It
Reviews
is
channel.
Taboo Week on Bestie Book Reviews. That's right.
Oops.
Unintentionally. We didn't realize that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm up again.
Yeah.
Okay. So next I read Undeniably Forbidden by Jay Simeon. This is the one book I had left in the it's not on the book cover. It's like the Boston Billionaire series, I think. Something like no. She has a couple of series that are too close
Yeah.
and I could never keep them straight. But this was the only one I had to read in this, and it's like book 2 or 3. So it was like up there. I don't know how I skipped it. Anyway, now that half my time is gone, we have Owen who has a one night stand with this woman at a bar. He is a single dad to a little girl. She's in school and he's a surgeon. And so he feels like his family's kind of not really pressured him into it, but really like heavily encouraged him to like hire a nanny to help with like getting her to and from school and just having her have a little more stability in her life rather than just random family always stepping in to help. And so his best friend's little sister needs a job. She's like an adult, but still a little sister, and he has not seen her. They haven't seen each other in like 10 plus years since she was little because there's little sister type situation. Oh, that's the end. Well, I hope that was enough to get everybody to want to read the book. So anyways, Estelyn and she goes by, like, everybody's always called her Eddie, but she's like older now, and so she doesn't want to be called Eddie anymore. She wants to go by Estelyn. And so he doesn't connect the dots that that's who that is. And Owen is a pretty common name, so she doesn't realize that she just slept with him either. So she shows up the next day to become his nanny and find they're like, oh shit.
Yeah.
And from there, things happen. This is Brother's Best Friend, and I did rate it. I rated it 4 stars. I enjoyed it. I will say that I am getting to a point where Brother's Best Friend does get a little bit on my nerves with the whole um power play, or just, the whole like, don't touch my sister. Like, just have
Yeah.
conversations as adults. Like, if
Let's
you're
all
like,
be
hey,
adults here.
this is my sister, and it's going to be really awkward if you're still in your Playboy era and you break her heart.
That's all it takes. An adult
Yeah.
conversation.
So
Yeah.
it's sort of, I don't know. I still really enjoyed the book. I rated it 4 stars. Like, I don't want to sit and nitpick the trope apart.
No, it's just the trope.
I think one thing though is if you read a lot, then those things and tropes start to we get a little more nitpicky than if you didn't read as much.
Yeah. So that makes sense. Okay.
Okay.
So the last book that I read this week was Bind Me by Samantha Dyes. This is book 2 in her Destroyed duet. This is the continuation of Amelia and Nikolai's story. So if you guys remember me talking about this is the one where she goes on a hike with her boyfriend only to get kidnapped by a guy when the boyfriend goes missing in the middle of the night. And Nikolai keeps her chained up in his in his cabin in the woods. Well, this book, so that book ends on the cliffhanger. This book picks up right where that one leaves off. They're in Russia, and she and Nikolai are given a task to do. They're given a job to do. There is some mafia that comes into play here. Nikolai is still, he hasn't quite figured out that you can't force someone to love you just because you tie her to the bed. Okay, like it doesn't work that way. And she's really trying to show him that he needs to set her free in order for her to actually love him. But her life is in extreme danger, and one wrong move could mean the end of her. There's literally something in her body that could kill her if she doesn't do as she is told. So it's very high stakes. I still gave it 5 stars. I don't want to say anything because I want to give too much away. 5 stars, still loved it. It was the perfect ending. This is the one that had like, the book one had like only a few ratings. I mean, it was just, y'all need to be reading it. It's dark, of course, but I loved it. So there you go. That was my
Okay.
reading week.
Okay, I skipped book number 6 in my list for some reason, so I have to back up. Luckily, I
Okay.
have the book, so I'm like, wait, why haven't I talked about this one yet? Or I might have just completely forgot it.
Yeah.
And that is A Million Times Yes by Marnie Mann. I think we all know why I grabbed this book. I had no idea what it was about, but I put it on my wish list. So this is Maya has grown up in kind of an unstable home with her mom, and they moved around a lot. And Maya just kind of grew up kind of resenting like people with a lot of money because her mom always kind of blamed them for, you know, things not working out. And there's a time where a big corporation developer comes in and buys up their apartment building, so they're forced to move. They live in their car at times. Like it's just a very unstable environment, and she ends up really resenting people who have a lot of money. And she works as a nurse now. She's a runner, and she sees this really good looking guy every day when she goes running, and they end up chatting, and they hit it off and they start a relationship together. And Jordan isn't kind of who he says he is. He's actually a billionaire and is quite wealthy. And Maya's gonna find out that he kind of has this secret identity before he tells her, and she's not going to be very happy about that.
Okay.
And again, did everybody get a good look at the book cover? And then, so this is Jordan's story, and then his brother Gavin has a story. It is No, Don't Ever Stop, which is coming out on April 21st. So, and his cover looks really good too. So I'll probably buy that one.
What did you rate it? Did I miss that?
No, I didn't tell you. 4 stars.
And what do you rate the cover alone?
Oh, the cover?
Yeah.
I feel like we should rate it 6 stars for that 6-pack.
Oh, I love it.
Okay, is it my turn again?
Yeah.
Okay, now I got to go find the spot in my journal that I would be at. Oh, okay. So now I'm going to talk about my DNF.
Oh, please.
Because we said that that was something you and I were going to work on this year.
You don't have to justify it every time we do it. It's okay.
Okay. I DNF'd. Are you going to switch over for my DNF?
Yeah, why not? You gonna talk about it?
I don't have a lot to. I
Okay, then we
DNF'd
can
it.
just stay on together. Sure.
Okay, I DNF'd Taming the Heart by Elliot Rose. I loved Chasing the Wild, which was the first book. The second book I didn't really care for. I just assumed it was my mood. I wanted to continue on. So I, as you can see, I physically own the book. So I was very excited about it. And then I just didn't care for it. So I tried. I started reading this back in February. And I thought, okay, it must be my mood. So I'm going to take a break from it. So I decided to try again. And we had like beautiful weather. I laid out on the deck to read, and I tried so hard to push through, and I just couldn't.
Okay.
There's just so many things. Like, she doesn't know this man. He's her boss. She goes to stay at his ranch. She's the PR person. PR Jessica, okay? He's showing her around the ranch, and he like makes a comment about like, oh, blah blah, like they're driving around, he's showing her everything, and she sees like a swimming hole, and she's like, oh, that'd be a great place. I'm gonna have to go skinny dipping there. This is her boss. She says that to. And there's no like there hasn't been any flirtiness really happening between the two of them. Like she just got there and he's literally showing her around. And I don't know. I just couldn't connect with her. I kind of
Mm,
talked about this book several months ago with you and Amber and Jen. I don't think it was recording at the time, but I was talking about how she drops her purse and he picks up her vibrator.
yeah.
Yeah, that's how they meet. And then like months later she comes back. And I'm like, I don't know. It just
Okay.
seemed like the book was trying too hard.
Yeah.
And I just couldn't connect with the heroine. And I'm like, I don't really care who she ends up with. I don't want to spend any more of my time. I have book number 4 on my shelf too. It's a stepbrother. I think I might try it and see. And then, because I bought it. Because I love Chasing the Wild. So I assumed I was
Yeah.
going to enjoy the rest of the series.
You're not the first person that I've heard say that,
Damn
though.
it.
So,
Okay.
okay.
Okay, and then my next book is completely a wild read for me. It was my birthday, and so something our the closest bar I was going to say the local Barnes and Noble, but it's really just the closest one to me has blind dates with a book there, and so I got 3 of those for my birthday, and that was this book,
What is
Muscles and
that?
Monsters by
Oh,
Ashley Bennett.
okay.
So I read this. This is about
Wow.
Tegan. What? What?
I'm wow. Oh, this is definitely not something you typically choose.
Nope, nope. So I have some notes.
Okay.
He, she is a baker and oh, I forgot to set the timer because I could maybe talk about this for a while. So she's a baker and the monsters, they talk about them being monsters. They like live in town. Like they're not shifters, they're not hidden. They live there. But typically people and monsters don't hook up, like they're not in relationships, like that monsters stick with monsters, people stick with people type thing. And she's leaving her bakery and she drops something, and Atlas, who is our coyote wolf type monster, sees her, stops and helps her pick up, and then she's kind of infatuated with him, so she finds out he owns the local gym, so she decides to join the gym. She gets there, he's quite infatuated with her, so there's lots of references to his tail wagging and like his tail won't stop thumping and stuff like that. He has a knot that he's not sure that she's gonna be able to take. I mean, the book is pretty wild, but I did enjoy it. I just tried
Good.
to embrace it for what it was and not like I sometimes will often, and I think this is why sometimes I don't like some genres, is because I try and think about not necessarily myself as the heroine, but like, oh, would I have done that? Like those sorts of things. So like I think that kind of turns me off of some. So for this, I was just like, I'm just gonna enjoy Tegan being with Atlas and not think about like his tail wagging and stuff, and just try to enjoy it. And I did. I rated it 4 stars. It was fun.
So proud of you.
What has happened to me? I do
I
not
don't
know.
know, but I love it.
Yes.
I think the
Me
tail
too.
wagging sounds cute. And we all know that I really like the knot things. So,
Yeah.
okay, well,
All right. This was a long video, peeps.
yep.
We had a lot to
Well,
talk about. We had some great reads, a 1 star, a DNF. I mean, we had it all.
yeah, apparently I have somebody at the door. Maybe, I don't know. That's
All
why the dog's
right.
barking.
Well,
So let's wrap it up.
hit that subscribe button if you've not done that yet. We love having you here. Like and comment. Tell us how your reading week was and hype our video if you would like to. We'd really appreciate that. And then make sure to check back on Mondays, Thursdays, and Saturdays, and definitely this Wednesday for new videos from us.
Thanks for watching, guys. We will see you in the next video.